Hey guys, and welcome to today's message. Today is the 3-3 portal. I almost said another three, but 3-3 portal. So March the 3rd. And this energy today is definitely a really empowering one. I could get the sense of like breaking through limitations. That's really the message essentially that I got. I was feeling that yesterday too, and I feel it even more so today. Probably because threes have such a special implication in my life. I have a life path number of 3, so I just feel like this extra magic and sparkle around this energy today. I just really feel like it's very expansive, it's very opening. It's like this portal has opened. And breaking free of limitations is like the theme, and it's going to be the theme, I feel like, for all of March. And this is like breaking through mental limitations, like when you become a prisoner of your own mind, and when you can't bust out of certain patterns of thinking and certain ways of perceiving and seeing things, then this energy today is going to really help to break that up, really help to free you and free you mentally, to allow you to escape from this prison that you have actually put yourself into for perhaps, decades, right? And it's important here to recognize that we pick up these patterns from, people around us, particularly our parents and our family and our friends, and again, just people in our immediate community and circle. So it is something that we now have an opportunity to completely like shift out of and look at things from a whole new perspective. There's also a theme about breaking out of personal limitations. So when it comes to your abilities, your gifts, your talents, and what you think you're capable of doing or accomplishing, that's another huge barrier that we're just busting right through. And I could feel it. It's like the glass ceiling has broken. It is absolutely broken in my life. And I can feel how expansive it is. Like I just feel like, like sky's the limit, literally, because there is no glass ceiling there anymore. There's no limitation. And this is due to all of the planetary alignments that we're currently experiencing. Hugely expansive Jupiter and Venus are playing a massive role in this, as well as other planets. But there is just this like theme of like people that have been stuck in jobs, in situations, in relationships, in all kinds of things that have been limiting or constricting or tight, or with like significant boundaries. Like all of those things are now just busting free. It's like giving us this opportunity to really look at, and really see, actually. It's really showing us where you're limited, where you have made yourself limited, where you have not allowed yourself to blossom into who you truly authentically are. And that has been a huge theme I feel for humanity for millennia. Like we have had such an issue with this, where people have had boundary issues, people have had just serious limitations placed upon them, and then serious limitations that they placed upon themselves as well. So all of these restrictions are now like, it's like an unbinding, the way that I'm seeing it kind of in my mind's eye. It's like this unbinding, or this like, when you like loosen your belt buckle and like you pull out a notch, right? Like it's that kind of a thing that I'm kind of getting like a visual of. So use this energy to your advantage and really like ride this wave. And I feel like humanity as a whole, and of course on a collective, but on an individual level, we're going to really we're just going to be super inspired to just break free, to get out of all of those limitations, mental limitations, physical limitations, emotional limitations, spiritual limitations. There has been so much limitation in our life on so many different levels. And if you just take a look at your own life and take a look at, where have you experienced restriction in your life? Perhaps in your friend circle, like in the sense of, have your friends been kind of limiting you in some kind of way? Have they been trying to hold you back? Have they been, giving you bad advice? Have they been projecting their own fears onto you? And then examine that for work, examine that for your parental relationships, examine that like with family. Where have I had limitations placed upon me based on other people's perception, based on other people's opinions and what they, told me that I should be or could be or whatever, right? This is all about regaining power. This energy is all about us finally standing in our own truth, finally recognizing and realizing who we are as individuals on a soul level, on a core level, and recognizing what we are capable of, recognizing our hearts and what is in our hearts and what desires are in there that are just dying to bust out and be seen, And vulnerability is something to be said here about that too, because the heart can't be seen unless we are vulnerable. And vulnerability has been such an issue for humanity. It has been such a complicated thing because we have been taught for so long that vulnerability is not okay, especially for men, and I really feel for the male counterparts here, because I see out in society how many men struggle with that so fucking much. And they struggle because it's not normal. It's not healthy to be restricting ourselves, to be restricting our emotions, to be limiting our emotions and limiting what we allow ourselves to feel. Like, that's not okay. It hasn't been okay for a really long time. And, we've only now reached this point, and this energy today is really amplifying this, but like, we've now only reached this point where we're waking up, where we're starting to see how that just doesn't feel good. So I don't want to keep doing it. I don't want to keep going down that same path and keep listening to people outside of me. There's also something about like us really just listening to ourselves and really trusting ourselves again, actually, really going within and finding that truth within ourselves instead of seeking that truth outside of ourselves. Because that has been a massive issue for so many of us as well, right? So where can you pinpoint limitations within your life and restriction within your life right now in this very moment, like today? If you take some time today to actually evaluate this and look at it and just take a moment to really be 100% honest with yourself and really look at your own truth. Where have I felt restricted or held back in any way by anything or anyone? And then assess, what has held me back? What has been that boundary, that limitation? Is it an addiction? Is it some kind of, and I mean, addictions here we can talk about for hours, because there are so many different types of addiction, and every single person on the planet has some form of addiction. So we all, even the people that, are like gurus or whatever, everyone has some type of an addiction. It's just kind of a human thing. And to get to that place of where you can overcome addiction it takes work. It takes a lot of truth. It takes authenticity. It takes a vulnerability. It takes a willingness for you to be honest with yourself about, what am I kind of obsessing over? What are some certain things that I have like a healthy pattern with, and that this could be like an addiction to a certain way of thinking, right? And I think a lot of us actually struggle with that. Or it could be an addiction to, like, we're not just talking substance abuse here. We're talking about so many different types of addiction. Some people are just addicted to drama. Some people are addicted to, limitation, actually. And actually coming to as I'm saying this, I'm also being reminded of how we're actually busting out of like survival mode. We're completely breaking the barriers of root actually chakra limitation, which root chakra has to do with our survival. It has to do with our family, our roots, our history, our past. It also has to do with some financials, material things. It has to do with what else? I don't know. Can't think of anything else right now. But there's just so much in the root chakra. And I noticed actually even for myself that mine was feeling particularly just weird, and like I've had to do like a lot of work and a lot of clearing, energy clearing around my root chakra this week, simply because I have felt something wanting to shift, something wanting to change. And I think as we're all energetically upgrading, because these energies here, like the 3-3 portal, really just means that there's a certain energy pattern, there's a certain energy frequency that is here and present on planet Earth right now. And that energy is propelling us forward. It is opening certain things within us. It is breaking those limitations, vibrationally on like a foundational level. Like, this is huge, people, huge. This is not like, oh, we're gonna upgrade a little bit. No, like, you're like full on being recalibrated and becoming a brand new person. You're busting out of your comfort zone, breaking free of survival mode, and like survival mode of like restriction and access to like food and shelter and water and basic things. There's a huge opening with that as well, energetically. So I think we're going to start seeing big shifts around the world in terms of access, in terms of what people have access to. And some things are going to be restricted in some parts of the world, and in other parts of the world it's going to open right up. But what mostly is going to happen is humanity as a whole is going to really start to see how like basic survival is a foundation. Like, it is a basic human right and need. And we're not even talking about basic, because we actually have a right. It is our birthright to have abundance, prosperity, all of our needs met, joy, happiness, fulfillment. These are all our birthright. And these are the things that are now being elevated, now being put to the forefront, so that we can see it, so that we can understand that, hey, I deserve everything that I desire. I deserve the love, the abundance, the prosperity, the beautiful home, the great family, and if you don't, if your immediate family is not that great, then make your own family, right? So it's like, there's so many things that we are now being like given the green light. It's the go ahead, like, do it, get into this, like, feel it within your core, within your heart, and within your mind, and allow yourself to really project that light out of yourself. Allow yourself to really embody this new unlimited version of yourself. So it's just such an exciting energy. It is such an exciting time, actually, to be alive. There was something really interesting I read this morning, and as I was reading it, it just super made me like feel like, wow, yeah, and it was the comment went something like this, like that if there's someone that that died last night who had plans for tomorrow, and there's someone that died today that had plans, or died this morning that had plans for tonight. And it really fucking hit me hard, because it was all about, don't waste time, don't stop yourself from doing things that you desire to do, and things that you feel you need to do, that you are called, that your heart and your soul and your passion is calling you to do. Because you never know when you run out of time. You never know when time is up for you, right? And time can be up for any of us at any time, right? So it's so important to live in the moment, to really be present, to be present with ourselves, our hearts, and how we feel genuinely, and to allow ourselves to experience beautiful things, to allow ourselves to dream, to get into the right headspace, right? And if you need to work on that, because life is short, and you know what? Before you know it, it'll fucking pass you by, and then boom, you're out of time. You're like, oh shit, I didn't experience half the stuff I wanted to experience. Like, it did not go as planned. Why? Because you didn't take action to make it go as you planned it, or you didn't allow yourself, because you were limiting yourself with certain things. And again, this is where we have to be so mindful of what you think and how you feel about what you think. And if you feel like shit about what you think, then let it go and think a different thought. Like Abraham Hicks always says, reach for the better feeling thought. So that's what I keep doing every single time my ego pops up. And again, we have to overcome our egos. Every time it wants to chirp in my ear and say something negative, or tell me that I'm not worthy of something, I just reach for a better feeling thought now. I don't allow it to keep me limited. I don't allow it to keep me constricted and small and to play small. Like, I'm not here to play small. I'm here to play big. I'm here to experience the maximum I can experience out of this life. And I'm here to be the best and highest version of myself in this life. I'm not here to continue doing what I have been doing, or to accept the programming that I received as a child of like never fucking being good enough, right? Like, I'm not here to continue living that, because again, the glass ceiling has broken and I'm out and I'm free. I'm out of that cage that I was placed into by people around me. And that kind of freedom is limitless. It is absolutely limitless, and it will propel me. I know it because I have the desire for it, and I have the power and the fire and the energy within me to just keep going, keep expanding, and reprogram everything that I have ever believed about myself, everything that I ever thought about myself, and just allow myself to flow with my own pace, flow with my own heart, flow with my own soul's desires, and listen to that. Not anybody else's shit, not the stuff that I was programmed from the time that I was a child, but who I am now. And that is what I encourage you to do. That is what I encourage everyone to do, because that is when we become truly authentic, not programmed, but authentic. And that is when we get to experience the kind of life that Abraham Hicks always talks about, which is a life of absolute pure bliss. So if you are ready to experience absolute pure bliss, then let go, bust through your own glass ceiling, get out of those limitations that people have placed upon you and have made you believe, and just go for it. Go for all the things that you never had the courage to go for, and just do it and try. And if you fall on your ass, that's okay. Then get up and try again. Dust it off, and try again. So keep going, guys. This energy and this month is super, super powerful. It is such a powerhouse. It has so much amplification of energy that is here for us. All you have to do is hook into the energy and take it in and allow it to carry you forward, and stop resisting. So that is my message for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share and subscribe if you dig my vibe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.